walking with a disciple. He was walking with a disciple, and there was a person who was doing parikrama of Shamkund and Radhakund. So those who had the fortune of being to Govardhan. So Radhakund and Shamkund are two ponds at the foothill of Govardhan. There's a very nice pastime how they appeared, but we won't get into the pastime. So basically there's a demon called as Arishtasur who had come in the form of bull, and Krishna had killed Arishtasur because he was a demon, and but the gopis they actually blamed Krishna that, oh Krishna, you have done Gohatya, you've killed a bull. Bull is supposed to be father. You've killed father. So now you are impure, right? You cannot come close to us. We want to stay away from you because you are a killer of cow or bull. So Krishna said, oh, what to do then? So they said, to atone for your sin, you have to bathe in all the holy rivers in the universe. So Krishna said, okay, I mean, I can go to each and every one of them, but better let me call them. So what Krishna did, he actually, with his heels, he actually pressed the earth, and there was immediately a kund, was established there. Earth moved, and there was a kund established, and then he called all the holy rivers of the universe to come there and manifest themselves. So each one came in their personal form and offered obeisances to the Lord and jumped into the kund and filled it with its waters, like Ganga, she came, Yamuna, she came, right? Godavari, Saraswati, Narmada, all the rivers, they came, all the holy rivers, they came and established Radhakund. Sorry, Shamkund. Yeah. So that kund became famous as Shamkund. And then Krishna, he actually, jumped inside, took a bath and came out. And he said, I have atoned for my sins, but you have sided with the demon. That was a demon. He came in the form of a bull, but it was a demon. You sided with the demon. So you are also impure now. You also have to purify yourself by taking bath in holy rivers. So Krishna then proposed that, why don't you take bath in my Shamkund, right? And be free from all your sins. So the gopi said, oh, no, now you've taken bath, all your sins are there, it's become dirty. We won't take bath there. We will dig our own kund. So all the gopis, they lined up and they actually chose a spot which was created by the hooves of Arishtasur, right? He was so gigantic. As one of the hooves actually had created a depression just right next to Shamkund. It had created a big depression. So the gopis, they went inside and they started digging more with their bangles. And then all the gopis, there were millions of gopis, they lined up from this Radhakund, the ditch there, up till Mansi Ganga. Mansi Ganga is another lake in Govardhan, which is actually Ganga Devi herself. So they lined up and they started passing water pots, filling from Mansi Ganga to Radhakund, and it was taking a lot of time and a lot of labor. So they were doing, but they were getting tired. So then Krishna, he indicated to all these rivers personified that, why don't you go and serve Srimati Radharani? So they all again manifested in front of her and prayed to her that, please, we want to serve you. And then she allowed them to fill up the Radhakund. So there's a Kanak Kund inside Radhakund, which is actually, Radharani and the gopis who had, dug that small area with their bangles. So from there, from inside Shamkund, the rivers then manifested through that Kanak Kund into the Radhakund and filled up the entire kund. So it's very, very auspicious. These two kunds, they are non-different from Radha and Krishna. Krishna declared that this Radhakund is, one of my most favorite places, and it's as dear to me as Srimati Radharani. So it's not different from her. Similarly, Krishna, Shamkund is not different from Krishna. So devotees, they generally do a parikrama of Shamkund and Radhakund. And so this devotee was actually doing parikrama, and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, along with some disciples, he was also there at the banks of Radhakund. And he saw this devotee taking parikrama. So disciples said, "Oh, so nice, this devotee is taking parikrama." So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, he said, "You know what is the difference between him and us?" So this devotee, he was quiet. He could not understand, what my Guru Maharaj is trying to indicate. So then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, he said that the difference between us and him is that he's a devotee of Krishna, and he is taking parikrama of Radhakund also because Radharani is connected to Krishna. For us, we actually take parikrama of Shamkund and Radhakund, and we include Shamkund because Krishna is connected to Srimati Radharani. We are servants of Radharani, but since Krishna happens to be connected to Radharani, we are servants of Krishna also, like that. So she is our queen, and her appearance is more special, than even Janmashtami for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. Similarly, Nityanand Prabhu, he's actually so there is there is Bhagwan and there is Sevak Bhagwan. So he's one of the Sevak Bhagwans. He's actually Lord Balram or even Lakshman incarnating as Nityanand Prabhu. So he's in the mood of, he's Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's non-different. He's exactly identical with the Lord, with Krishna. Balramji is exactly identical. It's like Krishna talking to himself in the mirror, right? He expanded himself as Balram, and they're having a conversation. It's like talking to himself in the mirror, right? If we do that, we look foolish. But then their conversations make the most sense in the universe, right? Or in all the creation. So he's not different. Just there is a difference in color. That's it. Otherwise, they're the same. So, but Balramji is in the mood of a servant, right? He's the Supreme Lord, but in a mood of serving Krishna. So, Sevak Bhagwan and Sevya Bhagwan. Sevya Bhagwan, one who's accepting service, is Krishna, and Sevak Bhagwan is Lord Balram, who's Supreme Lord, but then he's in the mood of serving Krishna. So that same Lord Balram, he's very, very furious if there is any mistake in service of Krishna. And he's known for his hot temperament also sometimes. And so once there was from Suta Goswami's father, I think Romaharshan Rishi, right? So actually they had established him on the Vyasasana and they wanted to hear Bhagavatam from him. But Balramji happened to be, on a Tirtha Yatra, and he was going to different places. And he happened to pass by at that very moment when, Romaharshan Rishi was sitting on the Vyasasana. So seeing Balram, right, and that is the time when Mahabharata was actually on. So Krishna was busy. All the others were busy fighting, and Balramji had, decided that let me go to different places. I don't want to take part in this war. So he was passing by this area in the Nishar in the forest, and seeing Lord Balram, everybody knew he was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone got up out of respect. Immediately got up. All the sages, although they were there to hear Katha, but then they saw Lord Balram, they immediately got up. And Romaharshan Rishi, he thought that I am on the Vyasasana narrating pastimes of the Lord. So, as per the scriptural rules, it's okay for me to not get up when, somebody, some great personality comes or somebody comes. Vyasasana is like, it's not required for you to get up. But then this was not just any ordinary great personality. This was the Supreme Lord himself. So ideally he should have gotten up, but he did not get up. Right? So Balramji is seeing that, right? He was not happy with Romaharshan Rishi, and he took a kusha grass, right, and cut his throat and liberated him. So just with a kusa grass, right, actually cut his head, chopped his head off, right, because he kind of offended the Lord. So You see what is the temperament of Balramji, right? The same Balram, he comes as Nityanand Prabhu, right? And there's one song by Lochan Das Thakur, Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Rai. Right? So he's Akrodha, he doesn't have any anger. Paramananda, he's completely absorbed in transcendental bliss, right? Supremely happy. Nityananda Rai, right? Nityananda Prabhu. Right? What is that? Next line is Akrodha Paramananda Nityananda Rai. Something which describes that how he has no, there is no sense of that I am superior or anyone is inferior. He actually falls down at feet of people. Imagine the same Balram, he's actually in the form of Nityanand Prabhu. He is falling down at the feet of people and requesting them to chant the Hare Krishna Maha. Please take names of Krishna. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Karo Krishna. Such a personality, he's falling on the ground flat, Danvat Pranam. He's actually touching their feet and requesting them, please chant the names of Krishna. So you can imagine, how important it is for us to chant, right? And how fortunate we are by grace of Srila Prabhupada, by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we are having this opportunity to chant. Right? And we can understand what kind of personality, so merciful, so magnanimous, right? He is the Supreme Lord, but he's falling at the feet of people, requesting them to chant. Just by his desire, he can make everyone like robots chanting. Just by his desire, he can finish the world, finish the universe in a second. Right? Our position is lesser than even an amoeba. Is lesser than an amoeba for him. Right? We don't even exist like that. He's so supremely great, and in front of him we are nothing. But he chooses to fall at the lotus, fall at feet of individuals, and requesting them, please chant the names of Krishna. So that is the mercy of Sri Nityanand Prabhu. That is the glory of Sri Nityanand Prabhu. And he's just having one simple thing in his mind: how can I connect everyone to service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, service of Krishna? So that is his mood, and therefore we worship him. We celebrate his appearance day even more than Janmashtami sometimes. Krishna said very easily, right? Sarvadharman Kartaja Mamakam Shakti. Surrender unto me, right? He made a big statement that you surrender unto me, and I'll save you from all sins. He's demanding surrender, full surrender. Then I'll save you from all sins. Whereas Nityanand Prabhu, he's not seeing qualification, disqualification, somebody even offending him, right? He doesn't care about that. He's simply there to give love of Krishna to everyone. So that is and Nityanand Trayodasi is one of the very special days, therefore. A day of getting mercy. Anyways, Nityanand was giving us mercy through Srila Prabhupada. That day, especially, even more so. So we should take opportunity like this and not miss out, right? So there are more festivals coming. Like I said, Krishna consciousness movement is filled with festivals. So there is also appearance day of Advaita Charya, which is coming. There is appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. That is also coming up. 18th March is Gaur Purnima. I think Advaita Charya's appearance days around those days only. I'll get the dates for you. So very special month coming up, right? We are also planning to take a yatra to Mayapur. Let's see if that materializes, and we all can join as well. All right. So, okay. Anyone remembers anything from our previous class? We were discussing chapter 5, verse number 5 to 9. We discussed last time.
We were discussing thoughtful person engaging in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. One who walks in devotion he is a pure soul.
Okay.
He controls his mind and senses and is dear to all.
Yes. So controlling of mind and senses, if you can control your mind and senses, you immediately become dear to all, because not doing things selfishly, but trying to help others genuinely, right? Anybody approaching you genuinely, right? He's genuine. He doesn't want, something out of me, right? So you understand that. Okay. Anything else?
And though working, he is not entangled.
Yes. So basically, somebody who is in, somebody who has received transcendental knowledge. So chapter 4 was all about transcendental knowledge. So Krishna is also now describing, how does that person in transcendental knowledge act? What are his characteristics? That is being described, and we'll see how 10, 11 will and 12, these three shlokas kind of continue that. Okay. Any other points before we move? Start out today's.
All his senses are for service of Lord.
All his senses are for service of the Lord. Yes.
Conscious person understands that well.
Okay. Anybody else? Any other points?
Devotee means he is happy.
Yes.
Not happy in Krishna consciousness means rascal.
Yes. Yes.
Am I doing chanting properly?
Yes.
Putting efforts to avoid any offenses.
Yes. We discussed about offenses also, right?
Yeah.
What offense we discussed?
Not getting.
One very, very grave offense.
Repeat, Prabhuji, can you repeat?
I'm saying we discussed about offenses, and we specifically discussed about one particular offense which was very, very grave. Destroys the Bhakti Lata beach.
Talk against the religion and devotees.
Yes. So one who does Vaishnava aparad, right? We discussed what is pap and what is aparad, the distinction between the two. And one who commits Vaishnava aparad, right? Knowingly, he blasphemes a devotee who's engaged, particularly those devotees engaged in preaching the message of the Lord, right? If he blasphemes them or if he says ill against them, that's Vaishnava aparad. And we compared that to a mad elephant offense, right? Mad elephant let out in a beautiful garden. It will destroy the garden in no time. So we are trying to, cultivate this seed of devotion given to us by Guru and Krishna, and we are trying to water it with, regularly chanting and hearing. So it grows a little by little. But then, if you commit Vaishnava aparad, it's like the mad elephant. You're allowing them in your garden, and it destroys Bhakti Lata beach completely. Right? So we discussed that last time. Any other points?
Devotee is also free of all vices, pride, envy, etc.
Yes. So these are all qualities of a devotee. They're like abhushan, Vaishnava abhushan. They're ornaments. He is free from all these things.
Devotees value everyone.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Yes, Prabhu. They value everyone. Okay.
They offer obeisances even before Mangal Aarti to senior devotees.
Yes.
We are discussing that.
Yes. They are very respectful. There is a culture of respect. Yes. Okay. Anyone? Anything else? All right. Let's start with our discussion. So 5.10. Brahmani adhaya karmani.
Brahmani karmani
Brahmani adhaya karmani.
Brahmani karmani.
No, Brahmani adhaya karmani.
Brahmani adhaya karmani.
Sangam tyaktva karotiya.
Sangam tatya
karotiya.
Lipyate na sa papena.
Lipyate na
papane.
Padam patram ivambhasha.
Padam
Padam
patra
patram ivacha.
mimamvasya.
Anyone would like to read the translation, please?
Can I read?
Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful action, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water.
One who performs his duty without attachment. Somebody who's in transcendental knowledge, he performs his duty without attachment. So here, the result is given of how he acts, right? One who performs his duty without attachment, surrendering the results unto the Supreme Lord, is unaffected by sinful actions, as the lotus leaf is untouched by water, right? So how does this devotee remain untouched? In the previous verse, we discussed that he is not affected by sinful reactions. So Krishna is giving the example how he remains untouched. So because he is unattached and he is surrendering the results to the Lord, he is not affected, just like a lotus leaf is untouched by the water. So lotus leaf remains in the water, but it's actually coated with a waxy layer. Therefore, it does not get wet. Although it lives in water, but doesn't get wet. So that's the example the Lord is giving. And the Prabhupada describes here, Brahmani means in Krishna consciousness. The material world is a sum total of three modes of material nature, technically called Pradhan. The Vedic hymns, Sarvam, the Vedic hymns, Sarvam hi etad Brahma, Tasmad etad Brahma nama rupam anam cha jayate. And in Bhagavad Gita, Mama Yonir Mahad Brahma indicate that everything in the material world is a manifestation of Brahman. Right? And although the effects are differently manifested, they are non-different from the cause. What does this mean? Anyone would like to take an attempt of what does this mean? Everything in the material world is a manifestation of Brahman, and although the effects are differently manifested, they are non-different from the cause. Anyone understands what this is? We've been taking classes for a year now. This should be easy. Anyone? You can try and it's okay, even if you are not right, accurate.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Brahma has created all living creatures, even the trees, everything. So he resides in them. He is present in them.
Brahma. Okay.
Yes, he is the creator.
No. This doesn't mean that. Okay. But good attempt. I think, yeah, you're close, but not exactly there. Okay. Anyone else would like
Everything in this world is like Maya. Is it something to do with Maya?
Okay.
I'm trying to get to that.
Okay. What is Brahman? Anyone? What is Brahman?
Lord himself.
Material world.
Yes. The question is, what is Brahman? Somebody said the Lord himself. Rinku Mataji said material world. So Brahman is Lord himself. Yes. Right? Brahman is Krishna only. That's true. So now just read the statement again. So everything in the material world is a manifestation of Brahman. What does this mean?
Lord Krishna has created everything, and
Yes.
he's present in them.
And he is
Present. He exists in them.
okay. He's existing in every atom as Paramatma. Fine. That is one understanding. A little bit more than that. I think Sujata.
He has made the world as per him. Whatever he wanted, he has made it.
Okay.
He has manifested a world which he wanted.
Okay. And anything else? Priya Rani Mataji? Hare Krishna, Priya Rani Mataji.
Haribol, Prabhu.
Yes.
Sorry, Prabhu, I was little unattentive.
Okay, the question is, here it says, from everything in the material world is a manifestation of Brahman. What is the meaning of this statement?
Brahman, when we are saying Krishna, like he's the creator of this world, right? He's omnipresent. He's the creator of this world.
Okay.
Um,
Yes, that is true. So he's a creator, but yes, Priya Rani Mataji.
Krishna is the proprietorship and he is the owner of the whole material world and spiritual and everything.
Hmm. Okay. Not exactly the answer I'm looking for, but okay. So
Okay.
everything in the
He
material
is
world.
present,
Yes.
he is present in everything, Prabhu.
Present in everything. That's like 50% of the answer, I would say, or more, but not 100% yet. So it's okay. Everything in the material world is a manifestation of Brahman, which means that yes, he is the creator. Everything he's present in everything, but even the material world itself, right? The material world itself is nothing but an energy of the Lord, right? So it's not that there is material world and now Krishna is present in everything. No, the material world itself, the ingredients of the material world itself, they are nothing but energies of the Lord. So it's nothing but manifestation of Krishna only in a different form, right? Everything in the material world is a manifestation of Brahman or Krishna. And although the effects are differently manifested, they are non-different from the cause. So the effects means, although the material creation may manifest itself in different forms, in form of mountains, in forms of rivers, in forms of trees, in forms of human bodies, in different forms, right? So there are different manifestations. They are non-different from the cause, but they are still connected to Krishna. They are nothing but Krishna's energy in different forms, right? So that's what these two lines are saying. In the Ishopanishad, it is said that everything is related to Supreme Brahman, and thus everything belongs to him. So why we spoke of this, that actually it's Krishna's manifestation only in different features, which means literally everything belongs to Krishna, right? Just like my nails, right? It's a manifestation of my own body, correct? So my nails, they belong to me, not that they belong to someone else. Just because my body is manifesting in a different way, right? Somewhere it's manifesting as nails, somewhere it's manifesting as hair, somewhere it's manifesting my hand or my face, like that. These are different parts of my same body. I'm the same person, right? So similarly, the material creation is actually nothing but an external energy of the Lord. So it's not different from the Lord in one sense. So it belongs to him, right? There's no two ways about it. It may manifest in form of your car also, right? Because it's made of the same ingredients: earth, water, air, fire, ether, right? But you may say, no, no, this is my car, this is my car. No, it's actually Lord's, right? He's supplying the ingredients. That's how it's made of. Right? Yes, Priya Rani Mataji.
Isavasyam vidam sarvam
Correct.
yatkincha jagatyam jagat. Right?
Yes. So everything is from the Lord and of the Lord, and he is the one who is deciding to give quota to each person. That's what the shloka Mataji quoted, Ishavasyanidam Sarvam, right? And that's from Ishopanishad also. And again, Prabhupada is quoting here in the Ishopanishad, it is said that everything is related to Supreme Brahman or Krishna. Thus, everything belongs to him only. One who knows perfectly well that everything belongs to Krishna, that he is the proprietor of everything, and that therefore everything is engaged in the service of the Lord. Naturally has nothing to do with the results of his activities, whether virtuous or sinful. So, because everything belongs to Krishna, he is the proprietor. So, anything you engage in service of Krishna won't have a material reaction, because now it's being put to the right use. Now you're not a thief. Now you're not stealing from Krishna and trying to enjoy yourself. You're using the particular thing in service of the Lord. So there is no question of sinful activities. So there it has to do nothing to do with the result of his activities, whether virtuous or sinful. So devotee, sometimes he may not even bother if he can do anything for the service of the Lord, right? Something which may be even materially appearing not so what you say, virtuous or not very moral, but if the Lord is giving that order to do it, or the Guru is giving that order to do something like that, the devotee doesn't hesitate and he does it for the service of the Lord. So for the service of the Lord, he can do anything, even something which may morally appear not really good as per the society, etc. And just to give you an example, even for example, the gopis, right? Or the Brahman Patnis. The Brahman Patnis, everyone knows the story of the Brahman Patnis. So Krishna and Balram, once they were going through the forest, and all the boys, they were very, very hungry. And they had gone really far off, I think after the killing of Dhenukasur, if I'm not mistaken. So that was in Talvan, and then they were moving ahead. So they were very hungry. Oh no, not Dhenukasur pastime, because Talvan they ate the Tala fruits. It was some other pastime. So they were there deep in the forest and they were very hungry, and they all approached Krishna. Krishna, they were very hungry. So Krishna said, okay, you go. There are, he sent two boys. He said, you go, and there are some Brahmanas doing yagyas. They had prepared a lot of offerings. So ask them, tell them Krishna and Balram are here, and they're hungry. They would like to eat. So you can request some food from them. So these two boys, they went and they requested that to these brahmanas who were engaged in yagyas. So they were doing home and yagya, and very, very ritualistically they were like with eyes shut, etc. When these boys approached, they were very angry. Why are you disturbing us? The boys requested that Krishna and Balram are here and they are hungry. Can you give some food? You have so much food here. So the Brahman said, no, go away from here. Right? Don't you see we are busy in doing yagyas? Yeah? You, foolish boys disturbing us like that. They kind of told them go away like that. So they went back, and then they narrated what happened to Krishna. And Krishna said, okay, now you go back again, and instead of going to the Brahmanas, go to the wives of the Brahmanas, and they will surely give you something. So they again went to the wives of the Brahmanas, and as soon as they heard, these wives of Brahmanas, they heard that Krishna and Balram are here and they are hungry. Immediately, without considering anything, right? Their husbands also tried to stop, but without caring for anything, right? They just packed up everything and took it to Krishna and Balram. So these Brahmana Patnis, they had heard of the Lord. They had never seen Krishna, but they heard of the Lord, of his different pastimes from different people, and just by hearing, they were already devoted to the Lord, and they were very, very eager, very anxious to see the Lord. And now Krishna actually came this way just to fulfill their desires. They were very eagerly waiting to see Krishna, and Krishna fulfilled their desires. So they got everything without any consideration of their husbands or society, or even fear of death from Kamsa. They just came and served the Lord. So this is a whole big pastime. We won't get into that, but the conclusion was that morally, it might be like, how can somebody leave their husband, leave their children, etc. But they did not care, and in fact, Krishna was pleased when they came there that yes, you did the right thing. Although externally the Lord was speaking that you should not have left and come like this, etc. But then internally the Lord was very pleased with them, because that is the purpose of human form of life, to, establish or serve the Lord. And that's the first swadharma, that is the duty towards the soul. There are other swadharmas, duty towards the body, but then this is the perfect swadharma, duty towards the soul, that is serve the Lord. And here Krishna is asking himself that he's hungry. So internally he was very pleased with them, that they did the exact right thing, right? And he appreciated them, and then he asked them to return. And they were afraid that nobody will accept us, etc. But Krishna said, "Don't worry, they will accept you." And when they went back, the Brahmanas, they were repenting, and they were glorifying their wives, that we all could understand. We were trying to ritualistically engage in yajnas and all of that, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead had requested for eating prasadam, but we did not serve. We were so foolish, we could not identify, but you are so glorious. So they started praising like that. And although they were praising and they were repenting that they acted so foolishly, still Prabhupada writes that they could not go back, and they did not now go and surrender to Krishna. Although they understood, they were repenting, but still they did not go and approach Krishna Balaram and surrendered. Why? Because they were afraid of their lives because of Kamsa's fear. So Prabhupada writes there, one who's too attached to the ritualistic way of doing things, right? Not understanding the spirit behind the ritual, just ritualistically doing things. It's very difficult for them to understand that Krishna is bhavagrahi, and it's very difficult for them to completely surrender to Krishna. So somebody who is engaged everything in service of the Lord, naturally he's free from the reactions. Even from a materialistic standpoint or a social standpoint, he may even act immorally sometimes for the service of the Lord, but the devotee doesn't care, because the highest principle is to carry out the orders of the Lord or serve the Lord. Even one's material body being gift of the Lord for carrying out a particular type of action can be engaged in Krishna consciousness. It is then beyond contamination by sinful reactions, exactly as a lotus feed, though remaining in the water, is not wet. So even our bodies, material body, is actually a gift by the Lord. So there is a story of Srila Sanatana Goswami. When Sanatana Goswami actually met Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then he was living in Puri. So once what happened was, Sanatana Goswami, actually he caught leprosy, and his whole body was filled with pus. So much so that it was difficult for general people to even look at him. It was full of leprosy. So what he would do is, he would not go on the same road as the other devotees, and he would take a path which was filled with very hot sand. In summers particularly, it will be burning, and he would go. It's almost like torturing himself, but he would go that route just to avoid coming in front of others. And he would then go and to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he would see from a distance and take darshan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and take darshan of the Jagannath temple and like that. So and once he was contemplating that this body is become useless. It's not fit for serving the Lord. I cannot go in front of the Lord. Cannot go in front of devotees. Not able to serve the Lord personally. Not able to serve the devotees. I should give up this body. This body has become completely useless. So he decided that I will throw my body in front of the Ratha cart of Jagannath. So Rath Yatra was coming close by, and there are Rath Yatra, the Rath is really huge. And a lot of times what happens also during Rath Yatra, there are so many millions of people. Sometimes some people come under the wheel, and they leave their body like that. So Sanatana Goswami decided that let me throw my body in front of the Ratha cart during Rath Yatra and give up my body. So next day when he went to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, from far distance he paid obeisances. And when he got up, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came close to him, and he was kind of running away, but then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu caught him. And he's like, what do you think? Your body belongs to you? No, you're now my servant. The body belongs to me. Right? It's Krishna himself. And he's telling, this body belongs to me. And actually, if you see, the body belongs to the Lord, right? He did not know how to create the body, right? Our parents also did not know how to create an eye, how to create a hand, right? This happened. It's the Lord's arrangement. He's the one who actually gifted this body to us. So it is meant for being used in service of the Lord. It's like, there's a driver who's given, a nice Rolls Royce car to move around and to maintain, right? And, suddenly you, as a driver, you meet a small accident. There are some dents on the car. There are, the glass is slightly broken, etc. So what should the driver do? Get it repaired, or just jump off the cliff with the car? नहीं, गाड़ी खराब हो गया अभी, let me destroy it. Is it for the driver to destroy it? Is it his right?
No, Prabhuji.
It's not his right. So the car belongs to the master. So this body actually belongs to Krishna. It's like a machine, right? It belongs to Krishna. And we are given this body to be driven for some time. And if there is some dents and something, you should maintain. Therefore, devotees also should actually take care of their bodies, not be, oh, now I am, devotee of Krishna, I don't care about my body. No, you have to maintain the car, right? Maintain the body in a way that it's fit for serving the Lord, right? So the driver is supposed to repair the car, fix the glass, clean it, so that when the master comes, it's very nice and clean and perfect for taking him around, like that. So this body actually belongs to Krishna, and we should keep it well for serving the Lord. And if we work in this consciousness, right, we'll be free from sinful reactions. It'll be just like we are in midst of things that may cause attachment, but we are detached, right, if we live in this consciousness. So it's exactly like a lotus leaf remaining in the water, but it's not wet. Lord also says in Gita, Mai sarvani karmani sannyasa. Resign all work unto me. The conclusion is that a person without Krishna consciousness acts according to the concept of material body and senses. He thinks, I am the body, I am my senses, and I should enjoy my senses. But a person in Krishna consciousness acts according to knowledge that the body is property of Krishna and should therefore be engaged in service of Krishna. So, and therefore, even, somebody may say, I'm drinking and smoking. I'm not causing harm to others, right? But you're causing harm to your body, which does not belong to you. It's not your property, right? It's like somebody has given you, a load full of cash, a bag full of cash to take care. Zip and you pull out, the stacks of cash and start burning it. Pour liquor on top of it, burn it, right? So that's what that is the heinous sin if someone is destroying their own body through smoking, through drinking, or people committing suicide. It doesn't belong to you, right? How can you destroy it? It's given to you for a very specific purpose, for serving the Lord, and thereby realizing yourself and going back to God. Any questions or thoughts here? Any reflections? No one? Okay, we'll move ahead. Kaina manasa buddhya. Please repeat.
Kaina manasa buddhya
Kevalairindriyairapi
Indriye
yogina karma kurvanti
yogina
kurvanti
sangam tyaktva sudshuddhaye.
sangam tyaktva atmashuddhaye.
Please read the translation.
May I, Prabhuji?
Yes, ma'am.
The yogis abandoning attachment act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the sense only for the purpose of purification.
Right. So somebody in transcendental knowledge, right? He doesn't act for his own purpose. He wants to act for the Lord, like we saw in the previous verse, and thereby he remains free from sinful reactions. So what should be the purpose of his action, right? So here Krishna is clarifying that the yogi is abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with senses. Somebody who's not completely purified yet, somebody who's practicing yoga, yogis, how should they act? With what consciousness, right? So they should act with body, mind, intelligence, and even the senses only for the purpose of purification. So if you are already there, you are completely free. But how to get there? While I'm, on the way, how should I act? So use your body, mind, intelligence, and senses for purpose of purification. Perfect. When one acts in Krishna consciousness for satisfaction of the senses of Krishna, any action, whether of the body, mind, intelligence, or even senses, is purified of material contamination. Right? The Mayavadi is the thing, this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman, so I should not use my senses. I should not, talk. They will have a, cloth on their mouth, Mauni Baba, right? They will try not to do material activities, etc. Because they don't have understanding that they can use their senses in service of the Lord. Mouth is given to, tongue is given to vibrate and to taste. If you vibrate Krishna Katha and taste Krishna Prasad, you achieve perfection, right? You don't have to not use your tongue. That's just going to zero from negative. Positive is use it in service of the Lord. So any action, whether of body, mind, intelligence, and even the senses, is purified of material contamination. There's no material reaction resulting from activities of a Krishna conscious person. Therefore, purified activities, which are generally called sadachar, can easily be performed by acting in Krishna consciousness. Right? So sadachar means etiquette or acting in Krishna consciousness. So there's something called as Vaishnava sadachar, right? How a Vaishnava behaves. So if you go to any, anyone who's from MNC, they will know that, at least for me, there was, in my previous organization, even this organization, we had to go through some training when we joined. It's called the onboarding phase. So there they describe the values of the company. They talk about, the code of conduct, etc., how one should behave, right? So sometimes it's, practically a one-on-one session, or in my previous organization, it was like a series of videos we had to go through training, and they would give us certificate, right? You've done code of conduct, etc., completed the course. So why? Because everyone in the organization should be aligned. How to behave, how to deal with, external partners, vendors, clients, other employees, right, or bosses, etc. Or if there is an issue, how do we address it step by step and not whimsically just start yelling and screeching in the middle of the office, right? So there is a code of conduct, and they're trained how to behave like this, so that everyone follows the same, rules and regulations, essentially, right? So similarly here, there is Vaishnava Sadachar, right? Sadachar means a behavior of a devotee. Achar means practice. Sadachar means the pure activities or behavior of a devotee, pure behavior, right? That's called Sadachar. So a devotee of the Lord, he is naturally having Sadachar, right? All his actions are meant for pleasing the Lord, and therefore his behavior is perfect, is ideal, and is also pleasing to everyone. For people like us who are practicing to become devotees, right? We are trying to understand Bhagavad Gita, we're trying to chant Hare Krishna, so that, and we are trying to work on ourselves so that, this sadachar becomes natural to us, right? We are trying to, be humble, for example, be respectful to others, trying to inculcate these values and culture, so that step by step, this also becomes our second nature, right? And we may act or behave in a nice way, right? Like we were discussing a few classes ago, in one of these Thursday classes, we were discussing this, right? That a Vaishnava is actually, Prabhupada was asked, who's a Vaishnava? How can someone identify, a devotee of the ISKCON movement? or a devotee of the Lord? How do we identify a Vaishnava? So Srila Prabhupada said he'll be a perfect gentleman. Not gentleman in terms of a suit, tie, and clean shave and all of that, but gentle in behavior. And through his qualities, people can identify, yes, this is a devotee, like that. So these qualities something we should cultivate, right? And it will naturally come also with chanting. And so therefore, purified activities, which are generally called sadachar, can be easily performed by acting in Krishna consciousness. So one who acts in Krishna consciousness can gradually and naturally get trained into sadachar. Srila Rupa Goswami in his Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu describes this as follows. Iha yasya hare dasye karmana manasa gira nikhilasva api avasthasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. A person acting in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, in service of Krishna with his body, mind, intelligence, and words, is a liberated person. Even within this material world, although he may be engaged in so many so-called material activities. So he's engaged in, if he's engaged in service of the Lord through his body, mind, intelligence, and words, then he is liberated, Jivan Mukta. And why so? He has no false ego, for he does not believe that he is a material body or that he possesses the material body. So because of false ego means false identification. Ego means identity, right? If I have the false identity that, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer, I'm an engineer, oh, I'm Indian, I'm a Britisher, I'm a American, right? These are all false identifications. I'm the material body, that's false identification, right? So because he has no false ego, a devotee who's serving the Lord through his body, mind, and intelligence, he has no false ego. And he does not believe that he is a material body or that he possesses the body. He's not the proprietor. He knows that he is not the body and that the body does not belong to him. He himself belongs to Krishna, and the body too belongs to Krishna. When he applies everything produced of the body, mind, intelligence, words, life, wealth, etc., whatever he may have within his possession to Krishna's service, he is at once dovetailed with Krishna. He is one with Krishna and he is devoid of false ego that leads one to believe that he is the body. This is the perfect stage of Krishna consciousness. So we have to come to this stage where we understand that everything is belonging to Krishna and we should use our body, mind, intelligence, and words, and life and wealth for service of the Lord. Now, we may not be immediately in this position as of now. So what can we do? Still, even if it's mechanically done right now, but this mechanically doing is with intelligence, that right now I don't have that heartfelt realization that I'm not this body and I'm servant of Krishna and I should use everything in service of the Lord. Still, with intelligence, I can understand this to be true. So let me, engage my senses, engage my body, engage my mind, engage my words in serving Krishna as much as possible. So even if one using his intelligence engages the senses like this, slowly and steadily cultivates sadachar, cultivates Krishna consciousness. The more you serve the Lord, the more Krishna reveals himself. The more you'll be attracted and attached to Krishna, the more you'll realize you're not this body. So even mechanically doing all of this, right? Body, mind, intelligence, words, life, wealth, if it's used in service of Krishna, even in that stage, you are Jivan Mukta, at least for the time that you are engaged. For the time that you're engaged, you are Jivan Mukta, you're liberated. And if you cultivate this mode, that becomes your default setting, right? Naturally, a devotee, he naturally thinks, right? There are several stages. There is Adav Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anartha Nivritti, Nishtha, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, and Prem. 9 stages. We have some basic Shraddha, Adav Shraddha, initial faith we have, right? And we are trying to do Sadhu Sangha. We are trying to come together, have each other's association, hear Bhagavad Gita. We're trying to do Sadhu Sangha, right? And some bhajan kriya, right? Chanting Hare Krishna, singing Kirtan, hearing Bhagavad Gita, right? These are bhajan kriya. And through that, what happens is anartha nivriti, which is the longest stage actually. Cleansing of the heart. Anarthas in the heart, they are cleaned with this process, slowly and steadily. Gradually, it's clean. So till such point, the mind is an enemy, right? It is pushing you away from Krishna. So we have to engage our mind and senses almost by force, using our understanding with intelligence that this needs to be done. Just like, you have to go to school. The kid may not like it, but the parents know that he has to go to school. Otherwise, he'll be like a vagabond, one of the gundas in the gully. So they are giving him training, even if he doesn't like it. So even though we may not like it, the mind may not agree at so many points. Sometimes it may, agree and may be, helpful. Sometimes it may be completely opposite and, obstinate that, no, I don't want to do chanting. I don't want to attend class. Why same boring hota hai? Same cheez baat karte hain. The mind may give you so many reasons not to do activities in Krishna. But with intelligence, we should understand that yes, this is to be done. Agar mind aisa bola ekdam ulta karna hi hai, we have to beat the mind with a broomstick, right? So we have to engage forcefully also. So anartha nivriti is a very, very big stage. Sometimes it may take lifetimes and lifetimes to cross this. But if one is serious and understand with intelligence, engages the mind, body, words like that, this stage can be crossed very fast, right? So after anartha nivriti, there is nishtha and ruchi, next stages. As soon as there is ruchi, automatically the mind now is attracted and drawn to Krishna like anything. You will have to pull back the mind sometimes. Bas thoda kam, right? But it's drawn like a mad person behind Krishna. So till such stage comes, we know that we have to literally engage the mind. People say, "Are bulawa aayega tab hum jayenge mandir, warna bulawa aayega." That is nothing but their mind cheating them, right? Krishna is calling you every single day, every instant he wants you, right? ऐसा नहीं है भगवान आपको मना कर रहे मत आओ मंदिर या मत आओ यात्रा या don't chant. Right? Some people say, अंदर से इंस्पिरेशन आना चाहिए. अंदर से इंस्पिरेशन क्यों नहीं आ रहा? Because your mind is rascal. Right? It'll take you away from Krishna. Because initially it wants enjoyment, instant enjoyment at any cost. And that cost is your spiritual life. Right? It's literally, that is spiritual suicide. If someone knows this knowledge, still is swayed away by the mind. Ki jab man karega tab jayenge. Right? Jab man karega tab mala karenge. Jab man karega tab yatra jayenge. Jab man karega tab ye karenge, wo karenge. Right? बाकी चीजों के लिए खाना खाने के लिए ऐसा नहीं करते हैं कि जब बुलावा आएगा तब खाएंगे. ऐसा कभी सुना कि बुलावा आएगा तभी खाएंगे वरना नहीं खाएंगे? Anyone does like that? Only when the Lord provides me a plate of food, then I will eat. We don't do that. We endeavor to get our food. Correct? Similarly, the Lord is clearly calling you in Bhagavad Gita, yes, become my devotee, pay obeisances to me, worship me. What more do you want? What more instructions do you want? He's clearly telling you, right? He's even saying, Ananyas Chintayantu Mam, single pointed focus, right? Sarva Dharman Pade, abandon all religions, just surrender unto him. He's saying this so clearly. उसके बाद भी हमको बुलावा चाहिए, right? बुलावा आएगा तो करेंगे, right? So that बुलावा is nothing but cheating of the mind. It's tricking you. The Lord is always looking when this guy will turn to me. इतना lifetimes हो गया, इतना सारा facility दिया, इतना association दिया devotees का, इतना कथा सुनाया, right? इतना opportunity दिया to chant. Still this guy is busy with his own things. He's literally waiting. He's sitting there as Paramatma next to the soul in the heart. He's sitting there just waiting when this person will turn towards me. Simply waiting. Right? And we are so foolish. Right? Yes, we lack willingness for sure, but then with intelligence we should understand that, okay, my mind is, we can actually change this whole conversation just by adding one word. right? You say, Prabhuji, I cannot do this, I cannot do that, right? You simply have to add two words rather, or one statement. Instead of saying, oh, I cannot do this, or I don't want to do this, you simply have to say, my mind is saying that I cannot do this. My mind is saying that, it's boring. My mind is saying that do it tomorrow, right? When you have this third person conversation, right? No, it's not you. It's not you. It's the mind. When you identify, even while saying things to yourself, when you identify, it's the mind which is saying all these things, right? Slowly and steadily over a period of time, along with chanting, you'll have the strength to say no to the mind. First of all, you have to identify the problem that it's the mind, it's not you, right? The soul is pure in nature. The soul is naturally Krishna conscious. We just have to uncover. We have to just remove the dirt on top of the mind so that the mind becomes a friend. Right now, it's the enemy. So when we even make these statements, oh, I'm unwilling. No, it's the mind which is unwilling, which means there is a problem in the mind and you can deal with it. You are separate. Right now, we are identifying ourselves with the mind. That's false ego again. Either I identify myself with the body, oh, I am the body, and therefore, everything related to the body belongs to me, etc. A slightly more subtle thing is I identify myself with the mind. जो mind बोलेगा वो मैं मतलब वो मैंने बोला है या वो मेरा ही that's the truth for me. No, you start using this language and you'll see that you'll be able to do everything you want to do and you can avoid everything you want to avoid. Just start with this. This is the first step, identifying by saying, my mind is saying, I cannot do this. Or my mind doesn't want to chant today. Or my mind doesn't want to wait for offering things to the Lord and then taking as prasad. Right? My mind wants to quickly, eat anything outside on the street. Right? When you start even using this language with yourself, right? You don't have to call it out to others. Internally, right? Then you'll be able to identify yourself separate from the mind. I think I've given this example earlier. If you want to cook a halwa, you cannot be sitting inside the pan to cook the halwa. You have to sit outside the pan and then you can cook nice halwa. You will know badam dalna hai, sugar dalna hai, suji dalna hai, whatever, right? Inside the pan, standing inside the pan, you cannot cook halwa. You will become some other dish, right? That's what is happening to us. Our life, we are inside the pan right now. We have no control. Things are happening to us and we are just being swayed here and there. You have to take a step back, see it from a third person's perspective. So we have to come out of the kadai, then cook nice halwa, make nice arrangement in life, right? Make our life, give it direction, give it meaning, right? By looking at from a third person's perspective. And when you start saying this, that my mind wants this, my mind wants this, right? Then you can actually have that distinction and see things from the eyes of scriptures. And even if the mind is not agreeing, right? Mind is very, very ziddhi, it's obstinate, right? With intelligence is higher than the mind. It can actually control the mind. So with intelligence, you can still engage your body, mind, and words, and intelligence, and wealth, and life in serving the Lord. And when you're doing that, you are Jivan Mukta. Continue to do that, you will develop Vaishnava qualities. You will develop attachment to the Lord. And, suddenly, the mechanical force thing will turn into natural, spontaneous devotion. Right? That time, nobody will have to force you. Nobody will have to tell you, Prabhuji, please come to Mangalarti. Mataji, please come to Mangalarti. Without any alarm, you will get up 4:30 in the morning. Right? And there was this devotee, Haladini Mataji. I was reading a book describing her life. So she would not waste time. That's one of the features of the devotees, right? One of the symptoms of a pure devotee. Avyartha kalatvam, right? They don't waste time. So she would go to bed thinking, oh, I have to get up for Mangalarti. In that anxiety, I have to get up for Mangalarti. Spiritual anxiety, right? Because she wanted to do so many things for the Lord. So, okay, sorry, my book is going to die. Let me quickly attach. Okay. So she would go off to bed thinking that I have to do so many different services for the Lord tomorrow, right? Like that. And the next day, she would literally get up, and the devotee is also described. She would literally get up like, a spring is jumping, and the spring is compressed, and you release the spring. Like that, as soon as, it would be 3:30 in the morning, she would just spring out of the bed. Right? ऐसा नहीं कि हाँ हम लोग का जैसा होता है ना कि अरे 10 मिनट सो जाते हैं 15 मिनट सो जाते हैं सोने दो अभी, right? She would literally jump out of the bed because of the excitement to serve the Lord. That is the stage of Nishtha, Ruchi, and beyond, like that. So she would spend entire day. She would divide it into 20-minute chunks. Because she was the only one with maybe one more devotee in that temple in West Virginia, Jagannath Temple. It was up in the hills. There were no other devotees. So she would actually had to go down the hill, collect firewood, literally chop the wood, get it back, fill water from the river, literally like पुराने ज़माने में जैसे लोग रहते थे. Imagine in West Virginia and New Vrindavan in those days, she would do that alone. Right? There were wild animals also, and then she would go down herself the hill, get all these things back up, put set the fire, cut the vegetables, wash everything, cook everything, dress the Lord. So practically 24/7 she was engaged. She had literally any time to sleep also, and she was blissfully engaged. And she would not have, because she was engaged in so many physical tasks, she would not have time to read. So she would divide her time into 20 minutes pockets. That okay, I'll do this reading for 20 minutes. I'll do this, cutting for 20 minutes. Like that, she would divide. She would plan her day so systematically that she would, by the end of the day, she would have chanted her 16 rounds very nicely. She would have read Srila Prabhupada's books at least for an hour. She would have, done entire seva. And it's not a simple thing to run a temple single-handedly. Even with 20 devotees, with 40 devotees, there are temples which are struggling like anything. Because there are so much services. And here this Mataji, with one more support, sometimes she would come, the other support would come and go, and like that. Single-handedly would do everything. And still she had time for everyone. Even somebody would come like a guest, she would serve this guest, speak to them nicely, preach to them. Inspirational life completely. I mean, we should really read somebody who wants to, get that enthusiasm and fire and willingness to serve the Lord should read lives of these personalities. I would suggest, I think we had distributed Srila Prabhupada's biography to everyone. If those who don't have, please raise your hand. We can send copies to you, or you can buy it on Amazon, buy it on from your local temple if you're not from Mumbai. And please read, because that is what will give you, will really give you that fire to serve the Lord. Right? When you read the lives of these personalities, I mean, if you want to maintain devotional life steadily and be enthusiastic, it's a must that we should learn about these Vaishnava Acharyas and even some other contemporary devotees, disciples of Prabhupada, how they are living. Because seeing them or hearing of them, some contemporary examples, only we can understand how we should be able to, manage things at our end. Priyanka Mataji, you had your hand up.
Yes, Prabhuji, for biography of Srila Prabhupada.
You have the biography?
No.
Okay.
If you have soft copy, that will also work out.
I'm not sure if soft copy is available. It's not a very...
it's available in Mandir. I'll pick it up.
Yes, it's available in temple. It's not a very big book. It's a small book. Not very small. It's a medium-sized book as such. And yeah, you should definitely get it. Everyone, those who don't have a copy of Srila Prabhupada's biography, please go and buy it. It's not very expensive. It's just maybe 80-100 rupees, I guess, or maybe 150 maximum. I don't know. I'll have to check the price. But yeah, please get it, start reading it, and you will, in no time, you will find so much inspiration and enthusiasm to serve the Lord that you would have never found in your life earlier. Really, if whenever I am down, I would just pick up one of these lives of some acharya and read. That is like a turbo booster. Literally, it'll zip you across. Okay, so I think it's already 12:42. We'll stop here. Are there any questions, any reflections or comments?
Yes, there's one question.
Yes, Manjushri.
What about the means of livelihood?
Means of
How-
livelihood.
Yes,
So,
financial, especially financial.
sure. So nobody's stopping you to earn, right? Like I gave the example that you don't sit around and wait for the Lord to, भगवान के बुलावे का wait नहीं करते कि हाँ भगवान ने बुलाएगा, फिर you'll have a plate of prasadam to eat, etc. You go and endeavor and earn your living and have food. Similarly, you should not wait for, temple I'll go when the Lord calls. No, the Lord is calling you every day, right? Is that okay, Mataji? So nobody's stopping you from earning your living. You should earn. You should create a good balance between spiritual and material. It's like a railway track, right? Runs on two tracks.
Yes. Because nowadays people give that reason, we are working for more than 10 hours or 12 hours and plus commuting time.
One should not work so much that he has no time for spiritual life. If one is somehow in that position, they should find a better place to work. If right now you cannot do anything about it, maybe in next 2-3 months you should be able to find something, right? And if you endeavor, the Lord will also help. He will put you in a better position so that you have time for the Lord. You have to have that sincere desire.
Yeah.
Right? Giriraj Govardhan is so merciful. Right? If someone doesn't have the means to do Govardhan Parikrama, but is very eagerly desiring to do Govardhan Parikrama, Giriraj Govardhan gives him the benefit of doing Govardhan Parikrama.
Yes.
That's how merciful the Lord is. He's willing, he's waiting, right, to give mercy, to give you facility. But you have to have that sincere desire. And to cultivate that sincere desire, if that sincere desire is not there yet, at least it's not there in me, right? You need to read books like Prabhupada's biography and other acharyas' biographies. Right? That'll give you the vigor to pursue this very, very seriously and sincerely.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Any other questions, comments, or reflections? Anything that stuck with you from the class?
Prabhuji, I wanted to ask for Mangala Aarti, do you go regularly on weekends? Then I can start with you.
Yes. Weekends, we can plan, and maybe on Sundays we can start with Sundays or Saturday, Sunday both. So let's start with one day at least, and we can, go and attend.
What time is it, Prabhuji?
Mangala Aarti is generally 4:30 in the morning.
Oh.
So you have to be ready by 4 or something like that.
Right. Tomorrow we can plan Sunday.
Sure, we can. No problem. And anyone who is not able to, living far, cannot make it to Mangala Aarti, they can do Mangala Aarti at home. Or you can at least come for Shringar Aarti, which is 7:15 in the morning. So you can leave your place at 6 and reach the temple by 7:15. All right. There are no questions. Any other reflections or questions, anyone? Okay, so let's get on to our